tomorrow will be the only city in North America to host China's Olympic torch, and we're being presented with an important choice. Take a stand for freedom and justice, or bow to the political games of an authoritarian and brutal regime. When China lit their Olympic torch on March 24th in Greece, they called it Beijing's journey of harmony. Meanwhile, for Tibetans inside Tibet, the situation is far from harmonious as they continue to resist the Chinese government's brutal military crackdown. Right now, there's no freedom of speech or movement. The entire nation is under martial law, and international sources report over 100 Tibetans have been killed. Chinese authorities are hoping that this torch relay will divert the world's attention from their repression in Tibet. But they're wrong. The chorus calling for an end to the repression is growing. As we saw over the weekend in London and in France, Tibet supporters and Tibetans are all over the streets of the torch relay, calling for an end to China's human rights abuses in Tibet. And as we saw yesterday on the Golden Gate Bridge, the extraordinary action and the banner unfurling by members and Tibetan supporters. So people everywhere are demanding for the immediate removal of Tibet from the torch relay. With the people across Tibet rising up and demanding their freedom, the stakes are even higher as the Chinese government looks to seize any excuse to continue their military crackdown against Tibetans. If the IOC allows the Olympic torch to be carried through Tibet, the government will inevitably continue and escalate the repression of Tibetans. Taking the torch to the Tibet would indelibly tarnish not only the 2008 Olympics, but the Olympic movement as a whole. The Olympic torch relay should be a celebration that unites people and not a propaganda exercise in which one person seeks to assert their dominance over another. Tibetan people everywhere have made it clear that they do not want the torch in their borders, and the torch passed through Tibet is politically motivated, aimed at saving face despite the widespread protests and asserting China's sovereignty over Tibet. So we urge the IOC and the National Olympics Committee to place the needs of the Tibetan people above the values of the Olympic movement ahead of the Chinese authorities' desire to protect an image of power and invincibility. People, athletes, and governments across the world have responded with an outpouring of support for Tibetans inside Tibet. Please join us in saying, "No torch through Tibet." Thank you.